I still remember that morning like it just happened yesterday. My daughter Emma came rushing down the stairs with her phone in her hand, eyes full of tears, and said, "Dad, the Hawaii trip is canceled. Something came up with the travel agency." I was immediately heartbroken for her. She had been planning that trip for months with her college friends, saving up her own money from her part-time job and talking about it nonstop. She'd even convinced me to help her pay for part of it as a graduation gift. When she said it was canceled, I could see how devastated she looked. I hugged her and told her we'd plan something else, maybe a family trip together instead. But days later, when I saw her vacation photos on Instagram, standing in front of the blue Hawaiian ocean with a drink in her hand, smiling like she hadn't a care in the world, my heart shattered. My daughter lied to me, but why was I wrong for what I did next, you tell me? It started months earlier when Emma was in her final semester of college. She was 22, bright, funny, a little spoiled maybe, but she had a good heart. Ever since her mom passed away 5 years ago, it had been just the two of us. I tried my best to give her a good life, even if that meant spoiling her sometimes. I worked long hours, skipped vacations, and picked up extra shifts so she could go to the university she wanted, live near campus, and not worry too much about money. She knew how hard I worked, and she always told me she appreciated it. So when she asked if I could help pay for this Hawaii trip as her graduation present, I said yes right away. She'd earned it, at least, that's what I thought. For weeks, she was so excited. She'd show me swimsuits she bought, the itinerary, the hotel her friends booked. It was infectious. I even helped her pick out a new suitcase and bought her a GoPro so she could record the trip. She hugged me and said, "You're the best dad ever." Those words, they still echo in my mind. A week before the flight, she came over for dinner. We laughed, ate, and she said she couldn't wait for the trip of a lifetime. Then 3 days later, she called crying, saying it was all off. The travel company messed up the reservations, and they couldn't get another flight. She said she was so embarrassed and just wanted to stay home for a few days to clear her head. I felt so bad for her. I told her to take her time and come over whenever she felt up for it, but something didn't sit right with me. At first, I brushed it off. Maybe it was just my protective dad instinct. I texted her the next day asking how she was doing, no reply. I called straight to voicemail. I figured she was just upset and needed space. But 2 days later, I saw her best friend, Chloe, had posted a story on Instagram. Normally, I wouldn't even check, but curiosity got me. I opened it and my heart nearly stopped. There was Emma, my daughter, in the background, wearing the same beach outfit she showed me earlier that week, standing in front of palm trees and ocean waves. She wasn't home. She was in Hawaii. The trip wasn't canceled. She'd lied. I sat there staring at my phone, trying to process it. My hands were shaking. Why would she lie to me? Why pretend the trip was canceled when I literally helped pay for it? It didn't make sense. I didn't say anything at first. I waited, watching her social media. Over the next few days, she kept posting photos, beach parties, dinners, hiking, all smiles. I was angry, but more than that, I was hurt. I couldn't believe she thought I was stupid enough not to find out. When she came home a week later, she acted totally normal. "Hey, Dad," she said, hugging me like nothing happened. I played along. I wanted to hear her lie to my face. I asked her casually, "So, how was your stay at home week? Did you relax?" She said, "Yeah, I just needed to clear my head. Honestly, it was nice just being offline for a while." I nodded and smiled. Inside, I felt something breaking. That night, I didn't sleep. I scrolled through her photos again, and each one felt like a punch to the gut. The lies, the betrayal. After everything we'd been through, after every sacrifice I made, she couldn't even be honest with me. So the next morning, I decided to confront her, but not directly. I printed one of her vacation photos and left it on the kitchen counter. She always grabbed coffee before work, so I knew she'd see it. Sure enough, I heard her footsteps, a pause, then silence. "Dad," she called out, her voice trembling. I walked in and said, "Nice photo. The ocean looks beautiful. Where exactly was this again?" She turned pale. "Dad, I can explain." I said, "I'm listening." Then the tears started. She said, "I didn't want to hurt you." I asked, "By lying to me?" She said she'd been afraid I'd be mad if she told me the truth. That she wasn't going with her usual group of friends. Instead, she went with her boyfriend, someone I didn't even know existed. She'd been secretly dating him for almost a year. His name was Ryan. According to her, they wanted some private time before she started her new job, but she knew I'd never approve of her going on a trip with a guy I didn't know. So she made up the lie about the trip being canceled, thinking it was harmless. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I wasn't even angry about her having a boyfriend. I was angry she thought lying to me was okay. I told her trust is like glass. Once you break it, even if you glue it back together, the cracks will always show. She cried, said she was sorry, begged me not to be disappointed. I wanted to forgive her right then, but part of me couldn't. So I said something I regret, or maybe I don't. I told her, if you're grown up enough to lie and take a secret vacation, you're grown up enough to pay your own bills from now on. Her eyes widened. She said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The credit card, the car insurance, the phone, all of it. You wanted independence, you've got it." She stormed out, calling me controlling and unfair, but I didn't chase after her. For once, I wanted her to understand what it meant to be honest. Weeks went by with almost no contact. I missed her terribly, but I stood firm. I thought she'd call eventually, maybe to apologize or just talk. Instead, I got a message from her aunt, my late wife's sister. She said Emma had moved in with her boyfriend. Apparently, his family was supportive, and she didn't want to deal with me. That broke me completely. My baby girl, the one I raised alone, was gone. I kept going through the motions of daily life, work, bills, the empty house, but every room reminded me of her. I started doubting myself. Was I too harsh? Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I should have just talked it through calmly instead of cutting her off financially. But then, one night, I got a text from Emma. "Dad, can we talk?" I called her immediately. She sounded different, softer, remorseful. She said she'd broken up with Ryan. Apparently, he wasn't who she thought he was. He'd cheated on her during the trip. Karma has a way of catching up fast. She came over a few days later. We sat in the living room, awkward at first. Then she started crying. She said, "You were right about everything. I was stupid and selfish." Hearing that was painful but healing at the same time. I hugged her, told her I loved her no matter what, and that I just wanted honesty. She told me everything, how Ryan had pressured her into lying, how he wanted the trip to be just them two, and how he promised to take care of her, so she wouldn't need to worry about money. But when she came back, he changed completely, started ignoring her, and finally admitted he'd been seeing someone else. She said the whole experience taught her more than any lecture ever could. So that's the situation I was in, and I had to make a choice. Before I tell you what happened next, I want you to pause and comment below. What would you have done if your own child lied to you like that? Would you have cut them off too? Or would you have forgiven them right away? I really want to know how other parents or even young adults feel about this because, honestly, it tore me apart. When Emma finished telling me everything, I just sat there staring at her. She looked so different from the girl who'd once lied to my face. There was guilt, pain, but also growth. I realized that sometimes people, even the ones we love most, need to fall hard before they understand the value of truth. I told her I forgave her, but trust takes time to rebuild. I didn't immediately start paying her bills again or buy her anything. Instead, I told her, if you want to earn back trust, start small. Be honest about everything, even when it's uncomfortable. She agreed. Over the next few months, I saw a new side of her. She got a job, started paying her own rent, and even helped me with chores whenever she visited. One evening, she came over for dinner again, the same way she used to. She smiled and said, "I booked us a trip, together this time." I raised an eyebrow and laughed. "Where to?" She grinned. "Hawaii, but only if you'll go." That moment, I realized we'd come full circle. I wasn't angry anymore, I was proud. She'd grown. We took that trip a few months later. It wasn't fancy, just a modest hotel, some sightseeing, beach walks, and late night talks about life. At one point, we stood watching the sunset, and she said, "Dad, thank you for not giving up on me." I smiled and said, "Thank you for finding your way back." Sometimes love doesn't mean protecting someone from every mistake. Sometimes it means letting them learn the hard way and still being there when they return. When we got back, Emma posted a photo of us on her Instagram, both smiling, the ocean behind us. The caption said, "The real Hawaii trip this time, no lies." Reading that, I finally felt peace. The pain, the betrayal, the heartbreak, it all led us to a stronger bond. I don't regret what happened anymore. I regret the lies, sure, but I know that without them, we wouldn't have learned how much truth really matters. So if you're a parent watching this, or even a kid who's made a mistake, remember this. Lies might seem small in the moment, but they grow faster than you can control. And when they break, they don't just hurt others, they hurt you too. Honesty isn't about never disappointing someone. It's about having enough respect for them to face the truth, even when it's hard. If you were on my side in this story, hit that like button. Subscribe for more real stories like this one, and let me know in the comments, would you have forgiven your daughter the way I did? Or do you think I was too soft? Either way, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you all in the next story.